Well, hello. Welcome back to another live stream featuring Edgeful. I've switched platforms from StreamYard to Restream. I want to know what the differences are like. So far, it seems a lot easier to use. I use Restream anyway on Sunday evenings. If you may or may not watch me already on Sunday evenings with Kay. But yeah, no, I do prefer it in terms of functionality. Obviously, the quality is not going to be as good because I was paying for StreamYard and I'm not paying for Restream, so I think it's 720. So I'm going to hopefully, the bars kind of tell the story anyway. I'll just articulate the rest of it. Hopefully, we can zoom in and zoom out where necessary. But I hope we're all doing well. Obviously, we had FOMC today. Rate statement had 0.25 cut. So the market has reacted quite well to that, as you can see on the screen. This is the 5-minute chart. One thing I wanted to get into straight away, actually before we do that, if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, and if you're on X, make sure you follow for all kind of trading content, etc. I'll keep that nice and short. But one thing I want to have a look at is obviously because of the power hour breakout report I normally use, which is here. This is Edgeful platform. This is obviously the main screen. And then on the left side here, you can use the arrows to come to all of your kind of menu options. Although I am right there. Let me move me. Didn't think about that, did I? But yeah, drop in the comments. See how is everyone? How are we feeling about the market at the moment? While I figure out how to move myself. Yeah, that works. Put me down there. Maybe up here. It's great. I can move myself anywhere and everywhere. Let's do that for now. Probably down the bottom left corner. See how that goes for the time being. Awesome. Let's get rid of that. So yeah, as I was saying, got all of the kind of menu options here on the left side. And then simply, obviously, we have the reports. And if you don't know what Edgeful is, it's a platform that basically gives you the data, helps you find the edge within the markets. For me personally, I use the power hour breakout report, which basically uses the last hour of the trading day. And let's jump into that. So the top right hand corner, we've got the power hour breakout. Obviously, you can see I've got lots of bookmarks. All of the reports that you can get, which are all here in the reports tab. You can click into them and obviously add them to your bookmarks. And you can quickly go over to the right side and tap on the power hour breakout report. And then obviously, because we're going to be looking at SPY, for now at least, we can bring up the SPY. What this does, it really quickly gives you a kind of broad outlook of what's happening on the report basically. So we can see today, this current setup for SPY we've got here is the last 6 months of trading. It's taken all the data from every single day that has been there, if that makes sense, in the last 6 months. But what you can do is actually whittle that down, that information. So you can see the percentage of a new high of day made is 30%, so it's quite high. And the percentage of a new low of day made is 14%. Now, of course, we're traveling at highs of the day because of the recent news. But what I wanted to say, and this is the point that I wanted to bring across, was if you click here on number 6, choose sub-report, you can actually do it by weekday. And obviously today is Wednesday. I'll just do it for you. Here, Wednesday. And of course, it's FOMC day. So the percentages change a lot more. So this one's gone from 20% to 30%. Just because we've gone from every day to Wednesday. And that's mainly because of FOMC days, because we've had lots of FOMC days in the last 6 months. Well, not lots, but enough to skew the data. Let me just check if I'm working on X. I am working on X. Fantastic. Right. Now I've just checked that. That's good. Bit bright. Let's go back there. Okay, so here we've got obviously the Edgeful platform, and then we've got the data, which is the 30% new high of day made. I tend to go for 20% or lower. So today I wouldn't be looking at a trade, and Wednesdays I don't typically do that. But I wanted to do this stream today to show you that that is the case. So you can see if we go back to the chart, the power hour breakout report is all about the last hour, and what it does is you can see from the actual report, high of the day and low of the day have both been mentioned. So if we go into the charts, then what we do is add the indicator. I'll do that from scratch. So we go to the indicator, and if you sign up for Edgeful, you get loads of free indicators, which are really handy. And then we basically go from Edgeful and then go to power hour breakout, which is here. I've actually favorited it, of course. And then what it does is it populates on the screen for you. The low of the day starts is here, it's marked here, and the high of the day is marked here. So you can see what I like to do is kind of make it all one color actually. So let's go ahead and do that. We've got a bit of time. We're not going to be taking a trade tonight though, because, well, you can see why. It's already kind of come out of that zone that I like to look at. So we'll just go for white lines all over. That music that I've got on in the background, I think I got it quite low, but just let me know if it's too loud. Because I have done streams before in the past where, you know, the music's been quite loud and been very annoying. But yeah, you can see this is the details I've got. So I've gone for all white lines. The session range is obviously New York time, 9:30 to 4 p.m. And then the power hour range is obviously the last hour, so the 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So just click OK on that. And what you can do on top of this, which we'll do that now, and you can see market sessions here. Turn that on, and then you can see this is market open to market close, whenever that will be, which is 20 minutes or so. You can get that again by going to indicators, invite only when you sign up, of course. Link for free trials obviously down below. Various areas. You can click on market sessions and there will come up. You can actually do two if you wanted to. But I don't know why you would do that, but. And with that, you can kind of turn on kind of London range if you wanted to. Turn off New York, and of course that will then bring up the London range you can see there in the green box, just about. And then Asia, Sydney as well. Let's go ahead and zoom out and have a look at that. All the different boxes there you can see. But for now, obviously, we're trading in the market session of New York. So we'll go ahead and turn that back on, turn the other ones off. Very simply. I don't really tend to play with any of these sorts of things. I think this is more style and that kind of stuff. But for now, I've just kept it simple. This is what I'm trading with. So that's that. And then basically what we're looking for is the low of day, which is obviously set very early on in the day, actually the first 10 minutes. And then the high of day, which was set, you know, throughout Jerome Powell talking, as he does. But what we're looking for when we go into this report is kind of price action near the highs or near the lows. In this case, obviously, we had it near the highs, but I probably wouldn't have traded it anyway because of the percentage was quite high. Let's go back to that and see. 30%. So like I said, I like to see anything below 20, 23 given on the market, depending on the market on the day. You know, if it's a bit of a slower volume day, perhaps a Friday, that kind of stuff. Let's go back to charts. So then what I would do is just kind of cycle through the stocks. Now, obviously, typically I've got the watch list here on the right. I've got some stocks here which I'm following. Yours will be different. Yours might be one or two. Mine is quite a lot. I don't trade them all. They're just there more for kind of demonstration purposes. But let's jump into the data. Oh no, sorry, the charts. Because what I do first is see if the price action is near the highs of the day. And to do that, that's the high of the day there, isn't it? Yeah. To do that, I will literally just cycle through them. So this one's right in the middle, so I wouldn't care about that too much. Microsoft, again, a bit too close to the middle. So you've got the low and the high here. Maybe I'll color that differently. That might be a bit better for people to So the high of day will be green, and the low of day will be red. Nice and simple, nice and easy. So yeah, nowhere near, the price action is nowhere near either of them, so we move on. Amazon, near the high of day. Again, given the market conditions and where we are, I probably wouldn't trade it, but this is definitely tradable, and depending if the data is in your favor or not. So what we would do, let's go back to the platform. We're already on power at breakout report from earlier, and we've already selected weekday, as you can see just above my head. So what we would do is go to Amazon over here on the right side, click that, and what it will do is bring up all the data for Amazon on the day. And this is obviously specific to Wednesdays, as we kind of touched on earlier. So there is essentially only a 4% chance a new high of day is made, which I think might increase because, well, there's basically essentially a 4% chance price action goes above this line in the next 20 minutes. 4% chance. So you could trade that. You could get in it now, or you could have already got in it, depending on what time you got into it. And obviously you would have a stop loss just above the most recent high of day. So say you got in here, then you would have stop loss above the high of day, which is here, and that's data related. So that's the 4% chance of you losing the trade. And of course, risk to reward ratio is pretty good. And in terms of targets, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, and possibly a bit confusing, but you might have to watch this a few times back. Well, maybe twice. So what I would do then is use the initial balance breakout report. Again, this is in the indicators, invite only. Scroll down to initial, which is initial balance, I think. Is that what it's called? I always forget what these are called. Yeah, initial balance breakout. And then that essentially gives you the price action within the first hour. That's this box here, as you can see on the screen. And then it populates lines. So you've got the high of the first hour and the low of the first hour. Ironically, actually the highs and the lows of the actual day. And then it populates these other lines that you can get to throughout the day if it was to break out of that area. That's a completely different strategy, but I like to use the lines as targets. And you can see every day is a different section of lines because of the different price action in every single morning. Some days obviously bigger than others. This one's a massive day. This one was a very, very tight kind of inside day. But today we're focusing on what we've got here for Amazon. So very simply, you could actually go from now, which is obviously where we've entered the trade. I haven't entered the trade, but this is where you would enter the trade. And of course, your first target price would probably be this line here, which is just almost like a Fibonacci type thing from the first hour's price action. Pretty simple. I know it sounds simple, but once you get a couple of them rolling, it does make a lot of sense. And then you've got risk to reward ratio there of 3.62 to 1, which is pretty handsome. Of course, it could obviously go higher and break the high of day, and you would lose the trade. But you would only lose 0.1%, which, you know, if you're trading blind, you could quite obviously lose a lot more than that. But we're not trading blind, we're trading with data. So we'll see how that matures in the next 15 minutes or so. I think it's important to note, of course, that if the price action comes down, if it doesn't touch our target price, it's important to close that trade before the market closes, because that's where the data ends. If you're trading futures, that's a little bit different. It's up to your risk profile. You can carry it through if you like, but that then becomes, you're kind of on your own. There's no data to back behind that. I've done that a few times. I've done it a few times profitably, a few times not profitably, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. As long as you keep your risk management okay, then shouldn't be a problem at all. Right. So we had a look at Amazon, didn't we? Let's move on to Baba. Similar sort of things we talked about with Amazon. Near the highs of the day in terms of price action. Let's turn this report off, a bit messy. Near the highs of the day, So you could have entered somewhere around about here. Of course, when you're entering, you're going to have a look at other technical indicators, so trend lines, resistance lines, volume profile, and previous high of day of lows, previous day's range. You can see the previous day's range indicator again with Edgepool. See previous day highs down here, and I guess the low is down there. Yeah. So yeah, good. You could potentially get in on Barber. It's a bit late now, of course, 15 minutes left, but the optimal time to kind of get into these trades, and the kind of time I look for is about quarter past, with 45 minutes remaining of the day, essentially. Just because it gives you a bit of time to kind of mature the trade before market close. But with the market the way it is now, I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon makes new highs, which it looks like it's about to do. Which is why I'm not trading that, of course, because it's FOMC day, and it's very hard to do that. I mean, look at Google, breaking the highs of the day, or previous highs of the day, and absolutely flying, continuing to fly. Nvidia struggling a little bit today, but it's in the middle of the highs and the lows. I wouldn't even look at that with the strategy. Tesla's blown through it in the first seconds of the hour, so yeah, that's that. And of course, every day you don't always have a chart every day, or a trade every day. But you can kind of get a feel for it. So if you're a busy person, or you just want to. How do I word this? Give me a minute. While I do that, what you can do is that. Completely forgotten what I was going to say as well. It must have been really good. What was it? Ah, yes. So if you can see that generally price action is near the lows of the day or near the highs of the day on SPY or QQQ, then that's kind of a good indication of where you might get an opportunity. Okay, so if you're going through halfway through the day, maybe a couple of hours ago, you can see SPY is trading near the highs or the lows. So the likelihood is that Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, all of those are probably going to be trading near the highs or the lows as well. So that's when you start bringing up the reports. I always go by weekday. You can just go by standard if you want to, but I feel like weekday is better because it gives you that extra bit of data that you need. You can also go choose your date range. You can go for like the last year if you want to, but I feel like that's quite a lot of data. We don't really need that much data, especially because different markets have different data as well. We've been in a bull market now since April, pretty much. So yeah, 6 months is fair. And then all I would do is basically just click through all of these to see what's the lowest or most interesting percentages we can find. So this one would actually be a very interesting percentage. 3.4% new high of day not made. And I've got a feeling it probably has made that new high of day. No, it hasn't. Still hasn't. There you go. The 4% doesn't lie. Not making a lot of money on this at the moment, but you can still, the data is still holding itself, and that's why the data's there. You would never think that this could go up and it goes down. No, you would never think that this would just suddenly go down, but the data would suggest otherwise. That's what I'm trying to say. Finding your edge in the market. There you go, I put it on the screen for you. All over my face. Well, I've just broken the highs of the day with that weird looking candle. You see that on the screen? Did that really just break highs of the day? Look at that for a week. Wow. I mean, it's a good job I didn't take the trade, but that's incredible. So last 10 minutes of trading, we normally get a lot of volatility, and that's why I quite like this strategy. Because if you can get a few kind of confluential points to kind of line up together, more often than not, you kind of get that dramatic move into the close, and you kind of make that money. Almost like a scalp, I guess. That is kind of what the nature of this strategy is, scalping. Whether you like that or not is up to you, but this is what I'm demonstrating here by using, the Edgepool platform and its data. The other one we were looking at was Barber, wasn't it? Let's go to Barber. Again, it just brings up all the data that you want. Stock, Barber, all reports, power hour breakout in the last 6 months by a weekday. Today is Wednesday. There is a 15% chance it makes a new high of day. Amazon now dropping. So there's a 15% chance that it goes above this line. And that's obviously not a very large percentage, and that's why it's not gone above that line. But yeah, Amazon, very dramatic candle right now. Let's do like a hypothetical trade on Barber as well. So obviously you probably would have taken it in the first 15 minutes, as I alluded to not so long ago. You could do very simply as where the candle was closed. Excuse me. So you could have entered quite literally almost on the entry of the hour, and obviously stop loss above the highs of the day. And then, like I said before, you can have a target price down to the large volume profile here, or you can come back down to where this move started there, or you can do what I said before, which is the initial balance breakout report that provides the lines for you. So I would probably go somewhere around about here, just because of the touch points are quite plentiful here. You've got one there as well. And then obviously back in the earlier parts of the day, got a few touch points there as well. But for now, there's too many lines on the screen. But we will leave that line there and see if it gets there before the end of the day. I mean, either way, it's a pretty good day for the market. What's the SPY doing? SPY's coming back down a little bit, not too much. Do I have moving averages here? Yeah, it's still got a long way to come back down to its moving averages. You can use that to get into these trades, but I probably wouldn't, just because it's more of a momentum indicator, in my opinion, not so much a trading indicator. A lot of people, and I used to do it, when it comes back down to the 5 minute, the 20-minute average or the 50-minute average, you would then buy them, but actually that's not a good time to buy. That's more just kind of confirming it's going in the right direction. And if it bounces, great. But buying and selling kind of happens more so around the kind of support and resistance zones, in my opinion. I mean, lots of people do have different strategies. It just didn't work for me so much. However, if the moving averages comes down to the support and resistance and it kind of combines, then that's a different story. That's kind of confluential support there. But yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's go back to Amazon. Amazon's got a big old candle there, so it looks like we might actually win this trade, this hypothetical trade here. But I can very much see this going straight back up, because it's the market, isn't it? That's what it does. This stream has flown by. Yeah, I don't know if you can or not comment on this Restream platform. I'm pretty sure you can. But I understand it's an interesting part of the day for Americans, being almost 4 p.m. You're at work, you're working hard, getting that money that you can trade with. And obviously people in the UK are watching TV, getting ready for bed. So doing these streams at this time of day, anytime I can do it. So. But the beauty is you can watch it in post-recording, and you can still learn what I'm showing you here. But like I said before, you can get the platform on edgepool.com, links in various places on my channel and on my profile, of course. Yeah, give it a go. I mean, it's a 7-day free trial. I think it is. I think you'll be surprised how much it actually kind of helps with trading. The way that width, you see that width on the end there? Get rid of that. There we go. Fantastic. And then just finally, of course, subscribe to me on YouTube at Sean Trades _ and follow me on X as well if you're not already doing that. And we have got, what have we got left? 4 minutes left of the market. Might just touch on a few kind of swing trading opportunities, or at least ones I'm looking at, perhaps. So let's go open up a new tab. Let's go to day. Rocket Lab doing well today, up 8%. Very, very nice. Got into this a little while ago. I think it was down here somewhere. I took a bit of a dip at first. That's okay. It's the way the trade works. Stop loss was down here somewhere. Moved up nicely after that. Looks like it's gunning for that 65 level. That's my next, my nearest target price. I will take some money there for sure. Get this out. What else have we got? Lucid up 4%. Still majorly down though. Enphase get a bit of a push. Hello. Oh, do I still have that trend line on here? Look at all these drawings I just don't use. I've got this new indicator. It's quite interesting. Don't really know how to use it yet, but trend duration forecast. So it basically predicts how long you think this trend will go on for. So it looks like it wants the candles to continue going green for another 15. Well, we've had 5 days, another 10 days. So somewhere up towards kind of 36. Anyway, that's not important. What I wanted to do was draw a line. It's not a pretty chart, of course, but that's where opportunities arise, especially for major solar players, you know. Yeah, look at that. That's what we want. We want it to break out of there, break out of this volume support, and then we're looking at there maybe a retest of this sort of area and then push up towards this area, which you can see is major support over this. That is a move of a very handsome amount. I'm already in this. It's been going down a while for me. 85% upside. And that's not even that much. You ultimately want it to come back up to $96 to $100 eventually. And that's 200%. Do your own research, but it's not bad. Yeah, one final check of the day. What are we on? Yeah, it's a couple of minutes left. Rocket Lab 7%, Lucid, Barbara up 2%, not too bad. Amazon, this goes to the daily. Yeah, okay, so Amazon daily looking pretty good. Barbara daily looking not too bad. Slightly red on the day in terms of where it started, where it's finishing, but still green. Tesla pushing up nicely after this bull flag that I drew the other day and posted on X a few times. Did I get in it though? No, I didn't. I'm in a lot of stocks at the moment, so I don't really want any more positions. Zeta breaking out of this potential bull flag. I've got a bit of a hypothetical move here coming along, and grab as well. Snap. Rivian, I've got an event happening tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. Path, obviously after good earnings, just a natural kind of cool down. I think that's fair. And HIM's getting beaten up again. I did mention the other day that this level of 41 looks like a very tough level to get through because of the amount of support here back in the past. Looking like it's going to be breaking down even further. We do have a possible bear flag as well. Why am I drawing it like that? Should be drawing it like this. There we go. So that could very easily break that down and then come back down to kind of 33 level. I hope it doesn't because I'm in it, but you never know. Anyway, that's it, folks. It's 9 o'clock. Amazon kind of dribbled down right at the end there. So you would have obviously taken that profit just before the close, and you would have been quite nicely in the profit there. Same with Alibaba. In fact, you would have hit your target profit zone. So yeah, a couple of winning trades there. I didn't take them because of the nature of the market where it was, but that's the theory behind it. And if you missed all of that, then go ahead and watch this stream back. I kind of basically break it down for 20 minutes. Various different examples. So yeah, awesome. Thank you for watching, everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe, and of course follow on X if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.